Now we'll start with the fifth module, that is backtracking. Okay. So whatever the problem we are solving, the problem will get the single solution. Suppose if we are using the greedy algorithm, so using the greedy algorithm, so we are solving the problem. So that problem will get the optimum solution. That is the optimal solution we will get. So there will be so many feasible solutions. Out of the feasible solutions, we'll have only one optimal solution. Okay. So, for example, if you want to identify the optimal solution, that is more than one optimal solution, then we can't go for the greedy method. So, we can go for the backtracking. So, backtracking, when we will use the backtracking means, so whatever the problem we are having, the problem which deals with the searching for a set of solution, not only one solution, set of solutions, or which ask for an optimal solution. Okay, so that will satisfying some constraints can be solved using the backtracking formulation. Okay, so after solving the backtracking concepts, so finally you will get the output. So the output will be expressed in terms of the n tuple. That is, we are having x1 to xn, where xi, so this value will be chosen from the finite set Si. Okay, so here the main thing, whatever the input we are given, the input should be in terms of the set. So output will be expressed in terms of the tuples. Okay, so often the problem to be solved that calls for finding one vector which maximizes or minimizes or satisfies the criteria functions. Okay, so either we'll have two things. So one will be we'll have only one vector. So that will be maximizes the value or minimizes or will satisfy the criteria function. Okay, so otherwise it will seeks with all such vectors that will satisfy the P. Okay, so for example, if you are having the knapsack problem, so the knapsack problem, the concept is that is we have to choose the object. So the object weight should not exceed the capacity of the knapsack. Okay, so the condition is that is the whatever the objects we are chosen, so the chosen object's profit will be the maximum profit. So that time what will happen, so we can able to choose the maximize function. Okay, so that time we will get only one output. So otherwise, in some other algorithm, we are having, so for example, Hamiltonian graph coloring. So in that algorithm and all, n queens problem, in that algorithm and all, we'll have more than one solutions we'll get. That is, we have several vectors we'll have that will satisfy the P. P is nothing but the criterion function. Okay, so for example, so you take the sorting. Okay, so if you want to sort the integer, so what is the set we'll have? The set we'll have it as the a of that is 1 to n. Okay, so that is the set Si is equal to finite, and that will include the integer 1 to n. Okay, so now the criteria function, what function we are using for the sorting? So sorting is mainly used for the inequality. So this will be the criteria function. Okay, so the output, all the values will be displayed, that to be displayed in the ascending order. So the n tuples where xi is the index in A, of I is the smallest element. So xi plus 1, xi plus 2, the xi will be the smallest element. Okay, so this is one example for the backtracking. Suppose if mi is the size of the set Si, so here mi is nothing but the trials. So how many trials we can able to do it? So if the set Si means, here we can say that is mi will be the trial number of trials. So then there are m is equal to m1 to mn we are taken. So n tuples which are possible kind of satisfying the function P. Okay. So before going into the backtracking, so first you should know what you mean by the brute force approach. Okay. So brute force approach is almost related to the backtracking, but it's not same like backtracking. But here what we are doing in the brute force approach, so we have to consider all the permutations. Okay, whether we'll get the solution or not, so we have to get all the possibility. So that time we no need to check for any criteria function. Okay, so first it will display all the permutations. So after displaying all the permutations, then we can able to try which will be the output, then we can able to evaluate one. Okay, so here, so brute force approach that will form all of those n tuples and evaluate each one with p saying those which yield the optimum. Okay, but in the backtracking what we are doing, so here that is we have to, so here that is we have to um, So here that is we are using the backtracking. So in the backtracking algorithm, so what we are doing, backtracking algorithm, what we are doing, so we have to check with the output. Okay. So once we check with the output, so here suppose if one path if you are not able to get the output means, so that time we have to backtrack it. Okay, and then we have to check with the other possibility. So that is not happen in the brute force approach. Okay, so brute force approach, it will take all the possibilities. So after considering all the possibilities, then it will check whichever will be the optimum mode. So we will evaluate it. But in the backtracking we won't do like that, just we will take only the solution which will yield the optimum. So if it is not yield the optimum, then we'll go backtrack, and then we can try with the other possibility. Okay. So the basic idea of the backtracking is to build up the same vector one component at a time, and to use modified criteria function. Okay, the criteria function we can say as the bounding function to test whether the vector being formed has any chance of success. So you read this. The basic idea is to build up the same vector one component at a time. So each and every time, so we have to build only one vector. Okay, so and then we have to do the modification criteria function, that is we have to apply the bounding function. So after applying the bounding function, so we have to check whether the vector is being formed there have any chance of success. So that has any chance of success is nothing but using that particular vector whether we can able to proceed to get the output or not. So if we are not able to get the output, then we no need to proceed it, just we can backtrack it. Okay, so that is nothing but we are ignore the end vector entirely. So this is the advantages in the backtracking. If it is realized that the partial vector x1 to xi can in no way lead to an optimal solution, okay, then mi plus 1 to mn, okay, possible test vectors may be ignored entirely. So I already told you m1 will be the trials. So we are using the trials m1, m2, m3, m4. Okay, for example, if a m5 if you are taken, so fifth trial if you are taken, so in the fifth trial we can't able to lead the optimal solution means, then that time from the fifth trial to the nth trial, okay, so we have to ignore it entirely. Okay, no need to proceed it. Okay, so the problem solved using the backtracking requires that all the solutions satisfy the complex set of constraints. So whatever the problem we are given in the backtracking concepts, so all the problems that has to satisfy the set of constraints. So here that is we are having two types of constraints, whatever the problem they are given. So one will be the implicit constraint and another one will be the explicit constraint. Okay. So normally the implicit constraints is depends upon the input what we are given. So sorry, explicit constraints depend upon the input what we are given. Implicit constraints nothing but so whether we can able to proceed it or not, so that will be different from different algorithms. Okay, so here you consider that is we are having explicit and then the implicit. Okay, so generally speaking the explicit constraint is nothing but, so constraint is nothing but the rules. So explicit constraints are the rules. Okay, so that which restrict each xi to take on values only from the given set. So I already told you that is if you want to give the input mean the input has to be given in the set. So whatever the value xi we are taken, the value xi will be present in the given set. We have to take it from the set. We can't take it from the outside. Okay. So here that is so how what values we can give it for the set. Okay. So if what value we can give it for the set means, suppose if you are giving that is xi value is greater than or equal to 0 means, so that set contains only the non-negative real numbers that won't contain the negative values. Suppose if you are given any negative values, that time explicit constraint will be uh, explicit constraint will not be satisfied. Okay. Suppose if you are given that xi is equal to 0 and 1 means, so we are having that is only the value we are having 0 and apart from that 0 and 1, so we can't able to give any values. Okay. So otherwise what we can do, so we can give any some lower bound values and then the upper bound value. So that time the xi value will be in between the lower bound and then the upper bound value. Okay. So here the explicit constraint, it may depend on the particular instance or it may not depend on the particular instance of the problem which you are going to be solved. Okay. So all the tuple that satisfy the explicit constraint that define the possible solution space for I. So whichever the tuples, that is the output tuples that satisfy the explicit constraint means, so that will define the possible solution space. It's not, they are not mentioned that's a solution space. So possible solution space for I. Okay. So next will be the implicit constraint. So implicit constraint that will be determine which of the tuples in the solution space of I actually satisfy the criteria function. So I already told you that is solution space is different and then answer is different. Answer will be the optimal solution. So solution base that will be the all the feasible part. Okay. So here that is according to greedy algorithm we are having feasible solution and then the optimal solution. So here the feasible solution that will be depends upon the explicit constraint. Optimal solution that will be depends upon the implicit constraint. Okay. So implicit constraint determine which of the tuples in the solution space of I actually satisfy the criteria function. Okay. So here the value the xi must be related to each other. Implicit constraint. So generally how we can describe the algorithm means so the algorithms determine the problem solution. So using the backtracking algorithm, so we have to determine the problem solutions. So how we can determine the problem solution means so we have to systematically searching the solution phase for the given problem instance. So systematically searching the solution space means first we have to start from the beginning and then we have to come to the next level, then we have to come to the next level. Okay. So we have to go through level by level. So we can't start from the first trial to directly we can't go to the nth trial. Okay. So each and every trial we have to check. So that is the systematically searching. If any one of the trial is not satisfied, then we have to ignore it. Okay. So here the search is facilitated by using the tree organization of the solution space. So that backtracking algorithm, so we have to specify with the state space tree. Okay. So using the state space tree, we can able to find the output for the backtracking algorithm. Okay. So next that is we are having terminology regarding tree organization of the solution space. So what are all the terminologies we are using in the state space tree? So organization of the solution space is nothing but the state space tree. So you consider here, so this will be the state space tree. So this is the state space tree. Okay. So here that is we are having four things we have to specify. Okay. So one will be the problem state and another one is state space of the instant. So third one will be the solution state and fourth one will be the answer state. Okay. So problem state is nothing but each and every node in the state space tree will be the problem state. So for example, this is the problem state, this one is problem state, this. So everything, each and every node considered as the problem state. Okay. So state space tree is nothing but, so that's the path from the root to the leaf node. So here that is you consider this 1, 2, 3, 4. So this will be the path. No. So this we can say it as the solution space of the instant I. That's a path from the root to the leaf node. Okay. So next one we are having that is the solution state and then the answer state. Okay. So the solution state and the answer state that will be specified only in the leaf nodes. Okay. Then how we will differentiate the solution state and then the answer state means, so solution state is nothing but the feasible solutions. So answer state is nothing but the optimal solution. Okay. So now here that is we are having the solution state. Okay. So here that, so while explaining the n-queens problem, I'll tell you. Okay. So here we are having that is x1 is equal to 1, 2, 3 and then 4. Okay. So this will not the solution space. Okay. And then here that is we are having 2, 4, 1, 3. So this will be the answer state. And here we are having 3, 1, 4, 2. This will be the answer state. So while explaining the n-queens problem, I'll clearly tell you what will be the solution state and then the answer state depends upon this problem. Okay. So these are all the four main terminologies we are using in the state space tree. Okay. So first one will be the problem state. So second one will be the state space of the problem. Third one will be the solution state. The next one will be the answer state. So each node in the state space tree will be the problem state. So state space of the problem is nothing but all the path from the root to the other nodes. Okay. So solution state is nothing but are those problem states, yes, for which the path from the root to S. Define the tuple in the solution space. That is the last. In some trees, the leaf define the solution states. Okay. So answer state you see are those solution states S for which the path from the root to S defines the tuple which is a member of the set of solution. That is, it satisfies the implicit constraint of the problem. That is the optimal solution. I already told you. So state we can say it as the node. State space we will say it is the path from the root to the leaf. Okay. So that tree organization we can refer as a state space tree. Okay. So whatever the internal nodes we are having in the state space tree, so that will be partitioned into disjoint sub-solution spaces. Okay. So I told no, we are having the node. If you suppose if you are having the node here, so the node will have the disjoint subsolution space. Okay, so this is also the general statement. Problem may be solved by systematically generating the problem state, determining which of these are solution state. So which are all the solution states, and finally determine which solution states are the answer states. So we'll have so many solution states. So from that solution state, we have to determine so which will be the answer state. Okay, and then that node we are having several nodes we are having now. So we have to differentiate the node. Okay, so that we are having three parts in the node. So one will have the live node. So the second one will have the expanded node. The third one will have the dead node. Okay. So live node is nothing but the node is already generated. The node which has been generated. Okay. And all of whose children has not yet been generated. So we have generated the node, but still we are waiting for the children node has to be generated. Okay. So that node, we will say it as the live node. So expanded node is nothing but the expanded node is also live node whose children are currently being generated. So that means we can able to expand that particular node. So that node we will say it as the expanded node. So dead node is nothing but, so we can't able to expand further. Okay. So when we can't able to expand further, so two reasons will be there. So one reason will be it will not satisfy the constraint. So if it does not satisfy the constraint, then we can't able to expand further. Otherwise, once we reach the solution, that's the answer. Once we reach the answer means, so that time also we can't able to expand it. Okay. So the dead node is nothing but is a generated node that is either not to be expanded further or one for which all of its children have been generated. So two things. One will be it's not satisfying the constraint. The second will be all the children has been generated. So that we can, that time we can say it as a dead node. Okay. So bounding function is nothing but, I already told you that implicit constraint. So the criteria function is the bounding function. So using the bounding function only, we have to kill the live nodes. Okay. So is the condition used to kill live nodes without generating all their children. Okay. So whenever if you are having each and every live node, so we have to check whether we can able to expand further or not. Okay. So that we will use it with the bounding function. Okay. So at least one answer node is always generated, or all answer nodes are generated. The problem requires us to find all solutions. So either we can able to generate one solutions, or we can able to generate more than one solution. So depends upon our vision. Okay. So you know the difference between the brute force approach and then the backtracking. Okay. So now you should know the difference between branch and bound and then the backtracking. Okay. So branch and bound and the backtracking that is we are using, that is the depth first search. Okay. So the state space tree that we can construct using the depth first manner. But in branch and bound, what we are doing, the state generation method, the E node remains the E node until it's dead. So we won't go backtrack. We won't do backtrack. Just we have to do the level by level. Okay. So normally, if we want to say the backtracking, we are using the DFS method, and in the branch and bound, we are using the BFS method. That is level by level we have to complete. So in the level we have to decide. So which will be the live node, which will be the expanded node, okay, and which will be the dead node. So that we can do. We have to identify in the level by level. Okay. So next is static tree and dynamic tree. So tree organization are independent of the problem instance. Okay. So dynamic tree means it will be dependent. Okay. So now general backtracking algorithm. So here we are not using any algorithm. Okay. Any problem we are not using. So just generally how the backtracking algorithm is works. So here we are having two things. One will be the iterative function and another one will be the recursive method. Okay. So in the iterative method, what we are doing. So here that is you see these are all the declaration part, you leave it. So here case equal to 1 means we have to start from the first, the set. Suppose the set if you are having that is several values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 means first you take the first value. Okay. So k is equal to 1. So if there remains an untried x of k. Okay. So k is greater than 0 is nothing but in the set. So all the values will be the non-negative real numbers. So we should not give the negative values. So the conditions they are given while k greater than 0. If there remains an untried x of k. Okay. So here we are having that is k value will be 1. We have taken only 1. Okay. But still we are having some k values in the set. If a untried x of k is there, Now what you have to do, so that x of k is belongs to the set or not. Okay, and then b of k is nothing but the bounding function. If the bounding function is true, okay, if both the conditions are satisfied, then we can take the path from x1 to xk, what value we are taken right now. Okay, then we can print it. Okay, so once we are done the vector, so this will be vector we are doing by the level by level. So for example, if we are taking the tree like this, so this one we are taken k and this one we are taken k. So once we have completed this, okay, so this k value will be belongs to the t of, and then this bounding value satisfied means, then we have to increment the one more k value. Okay, so that's what we are doing here. So we will increment the k value. Okay, suppose if it is not satisfying the bounding functions, so what we will do? So we have to backtrack to the previous set. So the k value will be decrementing, and then we have to come to the next part. Okay, so here the general backtracking algorithm, so it's very simple. First we have to start from the beginning. So we have to give the condition for the k value, and then what are all the remaining values we are having, that values we have to take. So that has to be belongs to the t of that set, and then the bounding function should be true. If both are satisfied, then we can take the path. Otherwise we can take the backtracking part. So once we have to print it, then we can go for the next k value. Okay, so this will be the iterative function. So if only one solution is decided, suppose if we want only one solution, means what we have to do, a return after the print will suffix sum. So return after the print will suffix sum. Okay, so that depends upon the problem. So whether we have to get only one solution or whether we have to get more than one solution. So the concept, everything will be same. So just one thing, we have to modify the algorithm. That's all. Okay. So now this will be the recursive method. So recursive method also almost same like the iterative method. Here just we have to call the backtracking recursively. Okay. So this will print all solutions. If only a single solution is decided, then what you have to do? So you have to make the flag added as a parameter to indicate the first occurrence of the success. That's what I told. No, so you can do some few modifications to get the solution. Whether we have to get the single solutions or we have to get more than one solution. Okay. Okay. So now, so we have to specify the promising node and then the non-promising node. So same like the live node, expanded node, and then the dead node. So here we can make two things. One is the promising node and another one is the non-promising node. So when we can say the node is the promising node and when we can say the node is a non-promising node means, so a node in the state space tree is said to be promising when, if it corresponds to the partially constructed solution that may still lead to the complete solution. So that will be the partially constructed solution. So using that node, so we can able to get the complete solution. So that node we will say it as a promising node. Okay. So that is the live node, for example. So otherwise it is called the non-promising node. Okay. So leaves represents either the non-promising dead node or the complete solution found by the algorithm. I told no the dead node. Okay. So the dead node will be either that will be the complete solution. Otherwise, it will not satisfy the bounding function. So that we can say it as a non-promising node. Okay. So we are having several applications using the backtracking algorithm. So in our concepts that we are having N-Queen's problem, Hamiltonian circuit problem, graph coloring problem, and sum of subset problems. So all the four problems this comes under the backtracking algorithm. So here we are having Hamiltonian circuit, we are having the lab programs, and sum of subset also we are having the lab programs. Okay. So next we will see the N-Queen's problem. Okay.